What's going on, guys? It's Yugi Bros, and I'd like to take a quick second to discuss the future of the giveaways here on the channel. Unfortunately, due to the current virus, mailing the giveaway prizes has taken longer than normal, and USPS has made it impossible for me to mail outside the states. Therefore, for future videos during this process, I will be postponing giveaways so that no one is left out. I don't want to only limit my winners to inside the United States because that's not fair to the Yugi Bros community. When everything is back to normal and I am allowed to once again mail overseas in the future, I will bring back my giveaways. Guys, thank you so much for the continued support you give both to me and to this channel. But with the thank yous out of the way, let's get into the video, shall we? What's up, Yugi Bros? Here with another duel video for you guys today. Today we are taking a look at Twisted Personality to the max. Both these decks are playing 3 Zoma, 3 Nightmare Wheel because they're both arguably the 2 best traps in the game, next to Dust Tornado. And I can't find a deck where they're bad in, honestly. But we did a Twisted Personality mirror match to just showcase how ridiculous this can get, especially when both players are playing at the same time. So we're playing Warrior Turbo. Our opponent's playing Gravekeepers. We opened Zoma, Charging Gaia, Command Knight, Dust Tornado. They opened Ambusher, Dust Tornado, Spear Soldier, and Offerings to the Doomed. We won the dice roll. We elected to go first. We set our Command Knight and our 2 traps, and we pass. Our opponent draws into Zoma the Spirit, summoning Spear Soldier, setting 3 to their back row, and we'll go into the battle phase and swing. They'll take a whopping 400 damage, because our boys got 1900 defense, and both our Twisted Personalities get a counter. The madness begins. On the end phase, we activate Zoma the Spirit, as most decks do these days. And we will go into the main phase 1. Normal summon Charging Gaia, who comes out at 1900, which we'll represent with the counter. We'll switch Command Knight to attack mode. We will set our Nightmare Wheel, and we will go into battle phase with a big onslaught here. They're going to flip their Offerings to the Doomed, so that gets rid of one problem. We're going to have Zoma swing in. They're going to flip Dust Tornado, get rid of the second problem. But they, alas, do not have an out to our 100 damage from our Command Knight. So their monster dies. Both our Twisted Personalities get a counter, and they cannot draw on their end phase. They're going to activate Zoma, like I said, as most decks do. And they will skip the draw phase, summon the Ambusher, switch Zoma to attack mode, go into battle phase, and try to desperately kill this Command Knight. We'll Dust Tornado their Zoma, but unfortunately this time we lose 100 life points to their monster. Just kidding, we have Nightmare Wheel. We draw into Dust Tornado. Our wheel will do 500, and Twisted Personalities will both get counters. In that case, we'll remove 3 counters from our Twisted Personality to destroy a face-up monster on the field. For those that don't know, at the start of the duel, you flip this card over. Each time a player loses life points, place a counter on this card max 3. Once per turn during your main phase, you can use one of the following skills. Either you remove 2 counters from this card, then you discard a random card from your opponent's hand, or you remove 3 counters from this card, destroying a face-up card your opponent controls. Real good. Real good. We're going to set our Dust Tornado. We're going to swing with Command Knight for 1600. Keep in mind this does boost himself as well. And they'll be down to 14. They are in top deck mode, but they hit Recruiter, so they have some type of defense. They'll use their Twisted Personality skill to destroy our Command Knight, summon Recruiter in attack mode, and swing in for 1200. Both our skills will then get a counter, and they will pass. We'll draw into Offerings to the Doomed. We really can't do too much with this, but we do have our defense in case we need to destroy their monster, so we'll set it and pass. They will draw into Rite of Spirit, which is actually a really good recovery here in this situation. So they'll set it, go into battle phase once again, swing for 1200, and our skills will get more counters. On their end phase, however, we Dust Tornado their back row. Thank God we did that and didn't wait for a Zoma the Spirit. We're in that kind of top deck mode where if we get it, we win. So we kind of want to just clear out everything as fast as possible. And Rite of Spirit is a card that we don't want to deal with. We draw an Amazoness Sage, which we are playing in this deck as a one-of. Instead of Dawn Zalug, I like this card because it just destroys spell and traps when it attacks. It applies pressure to the opponent immediately as it's on the board. And with Command Knight, it's 1800, which is also a pain for your opponent a lot of the time, especially when if it attacks, you destroy a spell or trap. Conveniently, however, we have 3 skills on our Twisted Personality, so we'll summon our Sage, use our skill, getting rid of Recruiter, they will get the search for Ambusher, but guess what, guys? They have exactly 1400 life points. All of a sudden, the Offerings doesn't matter. We'll swing in for a clean attack, and that is game 1. Alright, so going into game 2. Once again, both skills get activated. We open Dust Tornado, Zoma the Spirit, Charging Gaia, and Nightmare Wheel. They open Nightmare Wheel, Recruiter, Zoma the Spirit, and Ambusher. See how both of these decks are basically the same, but the monster lineup is different. They elected to go first because in the decks like this, you kind of want to set up your traps and stuff turn 1. The only time that's terrible is against Relinquish, I think, and sometimes Dark Moth, depending on what you open. But usually not so much with Dark Moth, more just Relinquished. We draw into Command Knight. We're going to set Command Knight because we're playing a Twisted Personality mirror match. Last thing we want to do is swing into something, get run into one of their back row, and have it deflect us immediately. I'd rather just play defensive until the game starts off, and phase the Zoma the Spirit as always, and they will draw. They draw into Oracle, which is really strong here, so they're going to Tribute Recruiter and summon it. Chain 1, they're going to activate Recruiter's Effect. Chain 2, Oracle to destroy all set monsters. That's really strong against us. That actually kind of hurts. We didn't have a direct out to that. And they get their search of another Ambusher. Keep in mind, I think that was probably the right play, because if both of these connect, putting 2 counters on both of these, then they can discard one of them. Or we can discard one of them in the following turn, but it won't matter because they have 2. So they're going to switch Zoma to attack mode and swing. We're going to Dust Tornado that. Better to get rid of that problem right now. Oracle's going to swing for 2,000, and we're going to Nightmare Wheel it. On the end phase, we Zoma the Spirit, of course. Wouldn't be the current format without end phase Zoma. We draw on a Wild Tornado, which is really good tech against Zoma the Spirit, but also Nightmare Wheel as well. They're going to take 500 off our Nightmare Wheel. That puts counters on our skills. We're going to set the Wild Tornado. We're going to summon Charging Gaia, but both of these, keep in mind, cannot get over this 2,000. I just don't see a reason to not normal summon this and then next turn put it in defense mode. It does keep its original defense, which is nice. And Zoma the Spirit's always better in attack than defense in most cases. So we will pass. They'll draw into Zoma the Spirit, set Zoma the Spirit, and pass. No real reason to use these. Both of these lose to this in attacks, so it's not really... You don't want to set them, you just get rid of them really quickly. You'd rather keep them in hand, especially for that discard if it ever happens. And then also, there's no reason to put them in attack mode, because both of these can swing over no problem. So I agree with that move. We draw into Command Knight, which is really strong because that will put this over this thing. Our Nightmare Wheel will do 500 to them. We didn't actually take the life points, and I don't think either of us realized it until after the game. However, you'll find out where the 500 actually doesn't make a difference. So I'll use the skill to discard a random card from our opponent's hand. No need to destroy the Oracle. Might as well make it so that give them all the time in the world to get rid of this, so that, you know, then their Oracle is live. It doesn't matter. We have Zoma the Spirit on the field as a defense. We're about to have Command Knight with this. And even if so, even if we could just sit and wait and let that sit there, and have that we will burn them, but also this is about to make this big enough to get over this, so we might as well hit a card in their hand. Twisted Personality's skill only destroys face-up monsters. If it destroyed any cards, I would rather target one of their face-downs. So we'll discard a card, we'll discard an Ambusher, we'll summon Command Knight, and that pumps this guy up 400, so now he's at 23. We're going to have him swing into Oracle, but they're going to Nightmare Wheel that. However, we do have our Wild Tornado set from the previous turn, so we will destroy the Nightmare Wheel, and that attack will go through, and they will take 300. Putting our skill at 1, putting their skill at 3. Our Command Knight will then swing for 16, they'll take it, and our Zoma will try to swing for game, but run into their Zoma, but at this point we're all in, so we're going to destroy their Zoma with ours and take 1800. That puts our skill up to 3, theirs already maxed out at 3, so they don't go beyond that. They draw into Floodgate Trap Hole, which is too little too late, unfortunately, for them. They're going to use their skill to get rid of our Charging Gaia. They're going to set a monster because this cannot attack Command Knight. Command Knight says as long as you control another monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target this card for attacks. So no good there, and Floodgate is dead as I said as well, so they'll set that and pass. We'll draw into Dust Tornado, which doesn't really make a difference in this situation. We'll have Zoma swing over their defense and Command Knight swing for exact game. But like I said, the 500 actually would have put them at 11, so it wasn't exact game, but it was still enough to end the game. So that was that, real quick. The warrior deck profile, we were playing triple charging Gaia the Fierce Knight, triple blade knight, even though you never saw it. Triple command knight, one Amazon Sage, double offerings to the Doom, triple Zoma, triple nightmare wheel, triple dust tornado. I feel like this is the powerhouse of the deck, so you play 3 of it. This is the other powerhouse, but we never drew it. This is a card that you can easily side one of out and not have it make a difference, really. But it's definitely your boost in making these like stronger. And this is just really good. It's a good wild card that no one expects, and I love it in the main deck. Double offerings for extra defense, triple Zoma, triple nightmare wheel, and triple dust tornado. I feel like these traps are almost all standard at 3/3, and this is like a 2 or a 3 in most decks, unless you're playing on obviously another engine where you can't fit these in the main deck. But the game right now calls for this and this heavily, and Twister Personality is definitely the ringleader behind all that. So in addition to the burn damage, we also play our double tribute kaiju that burns called Lava Golem. We play double adhesion trap hole. I feel this is interesting in this deck because you're playing a lot of beat sticks. The biggest thing is when your opponent summons a monster, this halves that monster's original attack. So it brings it down a peg. Against Darkmoth, it's actually really good. It puts their 3500 at 1750, which everything in this deck except Command Knight can get over, and Sage can't get over either. But again, like with the Command Knight boost, then everything's good. So Adhesion's really good in that situation. I think I sided it in, but we never saw it, so it didn't actually make a difference. So this is just really good in a lot of situations where you deal with beat sticks. We play Floodgate Trap Hole to deal mostly with Relinquished, but also other decks where we need to flip something face down as well. And the One Wild Tornado, I feel this card's just standard right now for Zoma the Spirit and Nightmare Wheel in the game. But also, if it's destroyed, then you can destroy a face-up card. Alternatively, for Gravekeepers, we play the 1 Oracle, triple Ambusher, triple Recruiter, and 1 Spear Soldier. I'm debating whether or not we play 2 Oracle going forward, but every time I play 2, I brick with it really hard, so that's where I'm at with that. I feel like Speedles needs to add another Gravekeeper that's, you know, big, decent attack points, but also has a good effect, especially if you don't have Necro Valley up. It'd be really nice to have something else. Double Offerings of the Doom, double Raidus Spirit, triple Zoma, triple Nightmare Wheel, triple Dust Tornado, as I've said before. Standard. You don't need to play Raidus Spirit or, you know, 2 Raidus Spirit. You could play 1 Raidus Spirit. I don't know. I just felt it was pretty good. These are standard, necessary, I feel like. This is just an extra Gravekeeper, but also with a decent effect. I'm not playing Allure of Darkness. I guess I could have arguably played a 1, but every time I play Allure of Darkness in this deck, I end up banishing the problem card, or the card I need in that specific situation. I don't really feel like banishing any of these is great unless you have multiples of, say, Recruiter, for example. So it's debatable. We sided the Lava Golem as well. The 3rd Offerings to the Doomed, a double Cyclone, because with all of these traps and quick play spells, you can easily target one of them and also blow up your opponent's card. I like that. Wild Tornado, like I said, it's kind of a staple, and double Floodgate Trap Hole, mostly for Relinquished and stuff. So, guys, what did you think? Did you like, love, or hate any of the options and or skills that we played? Please leave your comments down below. Do you think we could have maximized both of these decks or one of these 2 decks with a different skill? Let me know. As always, like and subscribe. Click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Yugi Bros out.